Good evening, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Get It Right with Atara Solutions. Unfortunately or fortunately, this is our last session of Zoom sessions for season 2, and we have had such an amazing time. This is our 32nd episode. 32nd episode of season 2. Season 1, we went all the way to 26 episodes. Season 2, we are on the 32nd episode, and this is just awesome. Get It Right with Atara Solutions is brought to you by Atara Solutions in partnership with Balcon Housing and Stallion Construction Company Limited. I am always your host, Grace Nzula, HR and trainer with Atara Solutions, a HR training and consulting firm. And we are doing this to demystify issues in entrepreneurship and employment. That's why Get It Right was started. So we are so excited and looking forward to ending the year strong. We have a meet and greet cocktail event scheduled for next week. And I have an offer for you today. If you pay between now and 9:55 today, you actually get to pay 3,300. We are knocking out 200 from your charge. So if you're paying between now and 9:55, you actually get to pay 3,300 shillings. So take advantage of this offer because this is gonna be fun. As you can see, we have Coach Buyanzi as a panelist. We have Coach Buyanzi who spoke to us about getting unstuck. She's an awesome speaker. We have Engineer James Mwangi. Engineer James Mwangi is the CEO at Current Technologies. Excellent. He took us through transitioning from entrepreneurship to employment, or rather from employment to entrepreneurship. We also have Joram Winamo. Joram Winamo spoke to us about business strategies. We have Jane Mutisia. Jane Mutisia spoke to us at our Job Seekers Corner. Joram is a business strategist. Jane is a HR consultant and a coach in your career, or an executive coach. Our keynote address will be delivered by one Mr. Mohan Panessa. He's been in business since 1972. Can you imagine? So we are going to learn from him because our theme is the ground has shifted. Have you? And no other person to speak about this than somebody who has seen the ground shift for over 40 years. Imagine 40 years. Even the people he employed in 1972 are probably not there anymore, right? And then our MC is obviously Noah Kipkemboy. Noah Kipkemboy is a business journalist. If you ever watch KTN News, Noah Kipkemboy is there. He hosts business on KTN News. And there is me there, who is your moderator of choice. I will be moderating their sessions as well. So we have awesome lineup for you. You cannot afford to miss out on this. Our partners are Balcon Housing, Stallion Construction Company Limited, Pathway Solutions, Sandbox, Zaidi Furniture, Paneses Kenya, Current Technologies, and the Career Management Center. Pathway Solutions are actually giving us an offer. They've been giving free trainings to you, our followers or our audience. They have been offering trainings on their LMS, and they also offer trainings on their Zoom live sessions. So if you're looking to get more information, I'll be sharing what's on offer this week, and you guys can actually tune in because learning does not stop, and we are happy to be changing the world through information in partnership with Pathway Solutions. So you guys are in good hands, and I can confirm that we are ending the year strong. 30th November from 5:30 p.m. at Parkland Sports Club. Tonight we have an offer of 3,300 if you pay before 9:55 p.m. So yeah, and we look forward to having fun. And allow me to introduce our speaker today. We decided to take care of the performance management in organizations, and we have our speaker this evening is none other than Catherine Wahome. Catherine Wahome is a performance management expert. I'm just trying to get a hold of her profile because Catherine Wahome is I have to read her profile for you guys to understand who Catherine Wahome is. Right. Yeah, sorry, my video was slightly off, but we got this. Right, so allow me to just introduce the speaker of the day. Her name is Catherine Wahome. She is the technical advisor to the Cabinet Secretary at the Ministry of Public Service, Gender, Senior Citizen Affairs, and Special Programs. She has so many she's certified coach, she's certified, I don't know what, she has a lot of certified, and I can tell you, Catherine is just awesome. I had her speak about performance management, and I knew we must host her. So Catherine is a seasoned professional with over 25 years experience in people and leadership development. She has also worked both as a consultant and a practitioner. Currently, as I have said, she's working at the Ministry of Public Service. She has also been an adjunct faculty at Strathmore Business School, and she's a certified coach, certified a lot of things, and you guys are going to listen to her, and I'm sure you'll love it. We're going to take the questions at the end. So Catherine, welcome to Get It Right with the Tara Solutions. Please tell us more about performance management in the changing world of work.
Organizational culture that you have set, because that is what creates the environment. Just like, you know, in agriculture, we say if you plant in the right environment, the crop will thrive. It is exactly the same. What organizational culture have you created for your people to deliver? And of course, there's the external environment, which largely is not within our control, but which we factor as we plan. Now, having said that, then it becomes pretty obvious that how much performance you get depends on how big this space is. How far is work meeting with the workforce is meeting with the workplace. I believe a large number of you are HR practitioners, and even those that are not, a lot of the studies that have been done in HR have shown that one of the greatest, actually the top motivator at the workplace is the work itself. What they call meaningful work. What exactly are people doing? So where these three things meet, that is where you get performance. And therefore, what I would like you to take away from that slide is the wider this middle circle is, the better your performance is. Now, allow me then very quickly to look at, so what is it then that you should concern yourself with when we come to those elements? So for example, under work, what are we talking about? We are thinking of the roles and responsibilities. How well are they defined? How well are they aligned to the individuals that are given that particular work? How about in executing them? What are the tasks? What are the systems of delivery? Are we manual? Are we automated? Even if we're automated, how easy is it to use that system itself? But perhaps more fundamentally, how meaningful is this work? I like to give an extreme analogy where, for example, if you've got a public relations person that you have hired and you ask them to sit in the back office, you're not going to get any results from them, because a PR person draws their energy from being out there. Similarly, if you hire an undercover detective and put them in your front office, you're going to have no results at all. So does this work resonate with who this person is? Which means even the way you hire matters. Are the people aligned to the work that you have? And then the mode of delivering that work is also important. Now, the other thing we've talked about is the workforce. So what are the things we are considering here? What are their skills and competencies? What are their personalities? Okay, because remember one of the things we said in the earlier slide is the organizational culture. So when you look at what your culture is as an institution, what is the meeting point with these individuals' personality? In HR speak, we call it the motivational fit. The things I like, you have a lot of them in your organization, so I'm going to be motivated. The things I don't like, you have a few of them, so I can live with it. Then, and the reason I've put the last two in a different color is how often do we ask, What are the aspirations of this person? Where, I know we ask that famous question in interviews, where do you want to be 5 years from now? And a lot of us answer it within the context of work, because anyway, we want this job. But what are their dreams? When they get to self-actualization, if we were to use the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, what do they want to be? How can we provide those opportunities for them? And I've been in institutions where the institution, just to ensure they retain, have actually accommodated non-work related aspirations. I worked in an institution that one of the employees was the captain of the rugby sevens. And I mean, it was a real passion for him. He wanted to be there. He still wanted to be an employee. And because he was a valued employee, the business actually found a way of balancing the two. And when you get an employee like that, they get very engaged, because through their work, they are living out their dreams. Now, the other critical one that my HR journey has also taught me, if we don't consider carefully, we get into trouble, is what I like to call the whole person. When this individual reports to work, they are a worker, they are a mother, they are a father, they are a sister, they are a brother, they are a community person. They are wearing very many hats. At the workplace, often we see just the employee hat, and sometimes we fail to see what is underneath. So their performance could be suffering, but perhaps it is suffering for something that is completely non-work related. I don't know how many of us are familiar with what is called the wheel of life, which is basically something that helps you assess how balanced your life is. You've got your health, you've got your career, you've got your recreation, you've got your finances, you've got your family. And so that wheel allows you to sort of, assign scores to each of those areas based on how you're spending your time, to see just how balanced is your wheel. So when people report to work, bear in mind that there are very many things they are balancing, and those things have a direct bearing on how they are going to perform. If I left my child sick at home, chances are you won't have the whole of me. A bit of me is still at home. So how can you accommodate me? Is it possible? And I guess COVID perhaps has been a blessing in disguise in that area, because now we have learned that we can allow people to work from home and they will still be productive. So can we allow this mother or this father to work from home so they keep an eye on the child and still deliver? So those are the sort of things we are thinking about. How about the workplace? What is your vision? What is your mission? What is the strategy, the structures? Those I think we do as a matter of course. So the only one under this that I want to spotlight is what I'm calling the physical and the emotional work environment, especially the emotional one. So the physical one, again, I guess by default, COVID may have sorted us out because, of the social distancing and so on. So we are probably already taking care of that and keeping the hygiene and so on. But what about the emotional work environment? How are we treating our staff? How do we speak to them? Do we give them feedback? Do we involve them? Do they look forward to coming to work? We have the common expression of a TGIF, thank God it is Friday. We want to create a workplace such that people say, thank God it is Monday. They are looking forward to come to work just because of the way the environment is. Those of you that may have read the Google story, that's what it is. A lot of the success that Google has is because of their workplace. What have they done to the workplace? And of course, the work. The work is very exciting. The workplace is excellent. Then when those converge, the workforce has no choice but to give you results. So as you think performance management, these are the three pillars I want you to bear in mind. What's the quality of work that I'm giving to my people? If it is mundane, if it is not challenging their thinking, I like to say, when I look at the adverts we put out, they're very flamboyant. One of the things you never miss in an advert is initiative, self-driven, works with minimal supervision, and then they come. And the day they report, part of induction is you give them templates. This is how we do reports out here. They want to do a report for you and you tell them, just pick the one from last year, you just replace a couple of things here. So where are they going to use their initiative? Where are they going to use their creativity? So I like to say that we like to hire peacocks, the variety, the flamboyance, but we like to manage penguins because penguins are easier. They wear the same suit, they walk the same. So it's an assembly line, but that's not where you get performance from. Performance comes from the variety. So that's one of the things I want you to take away. What is the nature of work that I'm giving these people? Is it meaningful? Does it speak to who they are as individuals? And like I said, when studies have been done, meaningful work has always come top on the motivators. The second one has usually been opportunities for growth. That has been the second one. And the third one has usually been the quality of supervision that they receive. And that speaks to the emotional work environment. How are you treating them? Do you shout at them? Do you throw stuff at them? Do you plan with them? How do you set their goals? Do you create an environment that they look forward to getting to? I think in the workforce, the only thing I would emphasize is I've sat in several interviews in my life as a HR person, and it is long. It is over a quarter century long. And a lot of times, I think we give undue focus to experience and academic qualifications. So where did this person work? Who did they work with? Where did they go to school? Now, that's historical information. That information is in the past. Just because I worked for Deloitte and excelled does not mean when I cross over to PwC, for example, even if they're in the same market, I will excel. Why? Because their culture, their environment is different. And that is why focusing on competencies becomes key. What can this person do? When you have some time, you can Google a tool called success profiling. It's done by Dimensions Development International, DDI, and they say if you're going to be successful in getting the right workforce, there are 4 key questions you need to ask yourself. Number 1, what do they know? That speaks to their academics. What have they done? That speaks to their experience. What can they do? If you notice, the first 2 are in the past. They are historical. Now, the third one, which is competencies, the question is, what can they do? What is their potential? So looking into the future, what can they give you? And then the final one is, who are they? Which speaks to their personality. So they say, when you're looking to hire your workforce, please make sure that you have answered those 4 questions in the course of your interview. And if you can do that, then get your workplace the way it should be and give them meaningful work. There's absolutely no reason that you shouldn't get results. So for me, that's the core of performance, where you get your performance from. But the topic for today is performance management in a changing work environment. So if these are the levels of performance, what has changed in each of them? And that's what I would like to look at next as we speak performance management. Now, what has changed? The work itself has changed. And I believe we've all experienced that. That's part of the reason we're even having this webinar. They were not as common before COVID. So we have a lot of automation. What does that mean for those that were not comfortable with technology? We've got digitization. Of course, artificial intelligence is taking over. The robotics is coming on. And what I like to call appearing and disappearing jobs. So as we get into the technology space, some jobs in the next 5 years will not be there. So as a HR practitioner or as a leader in business, what are you doing with the people that hold those positions? How are you preparing yourselves to exit them? How are you preparing for the skill set? Because you're probably going to need a new set of people to do the kind of work you're doing. So how are you planning in your strategy to bring in the skills that can handle artificial intelligence? Because all these will not replace people. It just means how will they interact with people meaningfully? So those are some of the changes in the space of work. How about the workforce? The demographics have shifted significantly. More and more, the Generation X, the baby boomers are being eased out of the workspace, and we are getting more and more of the millennials. And with that, the value systems. We had a space of, 8 to 5 that is getting challenged every day. even the workplace itself has become very fluid because it's no longer a physical building that we go to. The skill set, I've touched on that, yeah. And the issue of wellness has become a big deal. Mental health is now a big deal. So those are the things we'll need to be thinking about in the workforce. The choice as well. I mean, the millennials or the people coming to the workforce now have so much choice, is hard to believe. Now, music is a career. TikTok is becoming, you know, a source of income. Blogging, anything you can think of now has been converted into a commercial activity. So the question, the gig economy has become a big thing. You know, this generation now doesn't want to be stuck with one employer. So how can we still leverage this talent and, you know, keep our business running and get performance? So I think the HR practitioners who are here and the leaders, you're living in a very exciting time, but also a very, very complex time because the dynamism is also too much. There's an environment that is changing very fast. And then finally in the workplace, and you can see that has very many, it's very long because now we are having to move into a hybrid system. I doubt that the workplace will ever be what it was before. And if you've been following up the research, I think one of the challenges we have in Africa is that information is not readily available. But if you see literature from Europe and the US, there have been mass resignations from work. When organizations begin to require that people go back to work, a lot of them are opting out because during this COVID season, they have actually realized there's so much more that they can do without being restricted to a job. So there's a crisis in the West as far as talent is concerned. So hybrid is one of the things we'll have to think about. When with it, of course, flexibility. There's also hyper-connectedness. And I think that is where part of the mental health issues are coming from. The line between work and home has become completely blurred, completely. And that, of course, has got its own implications. It's actually now that I'm appreciating even that drive from my house to work that I really used to complain about traffic is now very therapeutic, you know, because being holed up in the same wall, because most of us have the same room where we take all our Zoom meetings, because that's where the lighting, is okay. That's where we have minimal interruptions. And that can be depressing. So you don't know when you're working. Is it when you're in that room? Is it, when are you not working? Is it when you go to your sitting room? So when we resumed, I actually began to appreciate just driving from my house to the office, right? Then, of course, we are getting to the space of big data. It's become a big deal now. HR analytics is going to be something we all must become familiar with. We are now shifting from employee experience to human experience, and the mental health space has actually brought that to the fore. So we are not looking at these people now as employees. It's not a tool of trade. We are now looking at them as human beings, and starting to look at them human beings has got its own challenges because they are changing, they are evolving, they are different. So how do you come up with all these systems? And then, of course, the issue of legislation. How do we manage this hybrid stuff? How do we not violate, we don't look like we are snooping and so on. So there is quite a lot that has shifted. So even as you look at your performance management systems, it means you will have to begin to rethink. So the essence of performance management has not changed. What has changed is the circumstance within which that performance is delivered, which means the how must also change. And allow me just to share some thoughts with you on what I think you need to be considering as you think about, aligning now your performance management to the shifting environment. And I've just broken it into three main things. I won't go through all of them. The first one, and that's going to be the toughest, is the mindset. We will now have to shift, and I've just said it, from looking at employee experience to looking at human experience. And I like to tell people, there's a reason we are called human beings and not human doings. So we have now to shift from the human doings, because that's where we sat for a very long time, When people come to work, we just want results. We don't really want to know what is happening in their space. That's no longer tenable under the new environment. We've got to have a bit of a shift. I know today we are talking about performance management. I want to challenge us to tweak that a little bit and start saying managing for performance. And there's a world of difference between the two. We don't want to come and manage performance after the event. We want every single HR decision we make to be one that drives performance. That's what managing for performance means. So when I hire that person, am I hiring the right person? The environment that I give them, then enablement, the support, is it guaranteeing me results? So that at the back of your mind, you're thinking, I want results. So every action that I take needs to go towards results. And then the last one is coaching versus managing. Because, you know, we've really, the human resources has moved a lot. Personnel management, human resources. Now we call it even human capital to give it that managing edge. But I'm proposing that we shift away from that and look at individuals as a well of potential. So how can we work with them to unlock their own potential without confining them to a space? And that is what coaching speaks to. Allow me to jump the systems, practices, and support and go to the process. When we think about process, goal setting, maybe even from COVID alone, one of the lessons we have learned is you can't plan too far. So the goals have to be nimble, very clear, very agile, and very near term. So you plan long term, but with milestones along the way. And that's what I'm calling clear performance plans. And then in terms of review, which is the other tenet of performance management, is do it real time. Have regular check-ins with your employees. So the annual reviews, the quarterly reviews are not going to be feasible because the environment is changing very rapidly, as well as the generation at the workforce now, they like constant communication. They want to be kept abreast thanks to social media, thanks to the 24-hour economy. They want to be with it. They do not want to, you know, be hearing information that is a week or a month old. In the systems, practices, and support, perhaps one of the ones I want to pick out is upskilling. That's going to be inevitable because of those changes that we have talked about. You do need to begin to get a new skills set. And then I would like to highly recommend that you separate your performance conversations with your pay conversations, because performance management is more than just pay. Performance management is about your strategic decisions. Are we aligned? Are we using our resources as we should be using them? And then also, as you look at people's performance, which is historical in nature, look at their potential, the competencies. What can this person give? I like to use the analogy of oil drilling. If you talk to the people who drill oil, before they can actually go to commercial drilling, they assess the potential of the oil rig. And depending on how long the oil rig is going to give them service, that is what gives them the blueprint to actually go on and drill. Why? Because drilling is very expensive. So you want to be sure that before I invest, this will, one, I'll recoup my cost and run this rig for a while. So as you hire your employees, you need to ask yourself, yes, this is the performance they are giving me today, but how agile are they? What is the potential within them for another 5-6 years? And not just 5-6 years that are the same, 5-6 years that could be significantly different from where we are here. So in essence, what you're saying, look at performance, but also look at learning agility. How flexible is this individual in our business? If today we close this unit of the business, can they fit? If we closed HR, can they move to finance? Can they move to legal? Can they move to administration? That is the sort of agility that I'm talking about. The last one I'll touch on there is the shared leadership. Again, just because of the generation that is coming in or that has come in, they don't believe in the hierarchical structures that we have. They believe that you hired me because I have something to offer, so I need to be involved in the decision making process. So those are the things I would say just very roughly that we need to look at. And just in conclusion, when you think performance management, I actually just want you to think one thing: alignment. Do I have the right people? Am I giving them meaningful work? Have I created the right environment? If you can speak to those three, you're home and dry as far as results are concerned. Okay. And just as a way of just my parting shot for you, we all know Peter Drucker, renowned a leadership and management guru. And he says the test of an organization is not genius. It is its capacity to make common people achieve uncommon performance. And let me speak like a lawyer and say, submit it to you. If you can focus on those three pillars that we have talked about and the elements within them, there is no reason that your common people will not give you uncommon performance. And I would like to stop there just in terms of the context setting, and then I can take any comments, any questions. Thank you very much, and back to you, Grace.
You know, every time I listen to you, I end up gazing and just learning something new. This is you, as in, I think I could listen to you all day long, and especially when you're speaking about performance management. And there's a question that Grace was asking. Someone shared the 4 questions when hiring. What can they do? What have they done? What are the other 2?
So what have they done? What can they do? What do they know? And who are they?
Good.
So those are the 4 questions. Yes.
Yes. I see Lillian answered, Jane answered as well, but I just wanted for you to clarify from from you. All right. So thank you so much, teacher. I have seen your comment there. Catherine Peter has their hand up. Catherine Peter, I'll ask you to unmute yourself, and I have given you powers to speak. Oh yeah, Samuel says, thank you, Catherine. This is the best performance management webinar I have ever attended. Right, so Catherine Peter, you can unmute yourself and go ahead and ask the question as we get to ask Catherine a question. So as Catherine Peter prepares, we have this generation in the workplaces, Catherine, that does not, or rather we are still figuring out how to manage them, right? They want to come to work whenever, and they also kind of know their value that we are not even understanding. So how can we maneuver around, do I call it confusion or do I call it the disconnect? I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Grace, for that question. I've always said I think we give millennials bad press, but I think I've worked with them and they're amazing people. But I would like to take us just a little back and think, who are these people? These are children that have grown. For those who have, their children have gone through 844, one of the things they are taught is their rights. Majority of the people in Gen X had no rights, basically. So these children know, they know what they are owed and what they are not owed. They've also been brought up by parents who've got exposure. You know, you and I. And one of the things we tell our children at home is, you know your rights, don't allow anybody to, I'm using direct translation, to sit on you or to oppress on, speak up. And that is what they grow up knowing. Number 3, what is their growing environment? I keep on saying, I've done a bit of interactions with universities in my other life. And it always shocked me that you'd go to a university parking lot and it is full of cars, and those cars are not lecturers' cars. When I went to college, that was unheard of. So our children drive to school, our children live in apartments that we have bought, our children have a monthly allowance. Now, I want to pose the question to you and ask, so what's their motivation to work? Because the basic needs that drove a lot of us to work have already been catered for. Now, to answer you directly, Grace, is now we have to shift our position now and know we are not starting from ground zero. We have now to move from the policies, the principles, the practices of ground zero and move to first floor. And now the requirements of first floor will be very different from the requirements of the ground floor, and begin to work with these individuals. The beauty is they are also very innovative. So if you go back to them and ask them to give you the solution, they will give you the solution. And that is why for me, coaching then becomes very key, because what is coaching? Coaching is leading through questions, if I was to summarize it. So don't carry their problems, take it back to them. So you've got this challenge, we have to deliver. What do you propose? And I will surprise you, they will give you amazing, amazing results. And let me share, I know we are, just a quick one, a practical one. In a place I worked before, and if you look at my CV, I haven't worked in many places, so you may guess. And we used to do engagement surveys, and the results were almost always the same. So when we did one of and I was the head of HR then, and I said, let me get a team of what we used to call our top talents then, and ask them, what do you think should be done? And it was very shocking, the things they came out with. For example, they said to me, when you hire me and you give me group life as an incentive, and one gentleman put it very well, and he said, Catherine, be serious. Group life, I will be dead. It is going to be my beneficiaries who are, enjoying the money. How can that be motivation? They picked even medical and said, I am 25, I am 24. Who gets sick at 25? So when you dangle that at me as motivation, thank you. No, please, it's not motivation. Pension. I am 25, I retire at 55. 30 years is an awful lot of time, and you only live once. I want it now, right? So what I'm saying, and I'm giving you a practical one, because then for me, it was a huge eye opener. So what I'm saying, Grace, is who are we hiring? And this is a wave we can't resist anymore. What is their value system? How can we align our policies to their value systems? And can I surprise you? It doesn't cost more. It just costs for us to shift our mindset, to shift our thinking gear, and don't do it yourself, involve them. Shared leadership is one of the things I've said they like. Give it as a project. We got a little team, give them as a project, and my responsibility was only to give them leadership, and if they needed any budget, lobby for that. And they came up with amazing, amazing solutions that didn't cost any more than we were already using. It was a question of realigning the resources to better meet the needs of our audience, as it were. Yeah.
Wow. Yes. I like working in projects. Valentine is saying, is it okay to change goals mid-year when managing performance?
Sorry, I missed the name. The name is?
Valentine.
Valentine, yes. The answer is yes. If the realities have changed, the goals then can be changed, because the performance management should actually be a live system. Can you imagine, like when we had COVID, if we stuck to our targets? That would have been insanity, yeah. And that's why we are having regular check-ins. You notice one of the things I said is under review, regular check-ins, because the environment is very volatile. And then if something needs to shift, then that something shifts, but it is communicated. So we don't want to wait a whole year or wait half a year. If you do it on a regular basis, then it doesn't become a crisis for anyone. By all means, change. Yeah.
I am trying to look for another question that was on how do we motivate team leaders. I'm trying to find it. Okay, somebody is saying, hi Grace, would it be possible for the presentation to be showed on the screen as our able presenter talks? There is a powerful information on the second last slide that flipped me. I'm trying to look for the question on motivation. Somebody was asking that.
Which slide is that? Is it this one or the other or the previous one?
The second last.
Okay, that one?
Most likely that one. He can confirm as I look for that question.
But perhaps even as you look for the question, I can comment from a general perspective, Grace, just based on that bit that you've mentioned. If you're going to be able to motivate anyone, remember in that recruitment question, the 4 recruitment questions we talked about, is you must speak to who are they? What is it that makes them tick? What is it that is meaningful to them? Once you and somebody might ask, how do I know that? The way you would know that, there are all these tests that can be done, the personality assessment, the psychometric testing. But even if you don't do that, in your course of interacting with them, you should be able to pick what are the things that are meaningful to them. And I can give you, like I said, my children, most of my leadership lessons, one of my sons, their greatest motivator was the TV. So if I wanted any results from him, the TV had to feature somehow. So perhaps there's a chore I would like him to do and he's taking forever. And I would say, if you can do this quickly, you might just get an extra 5 minutes of TV. Yeah. And one time he messed up with his homework and like for 3 months, he was banned from watching TV. And I think he cried almost right through the 3 months. And anybody who came to visit knew. Why? Because this was very meaningful to them. If it is not meaningful to the individual, it does not matter how much you do it, it will not work. You've had the example I've given you of where I was working. So we had all these benefits that we thought were excellent, but they were for the wrong audience, right? So from where we sit as management, we thought we were doing the right thing, but this thing was not working for our customers, so to speak. And I believe that's why a lot of institutions, especially banks, now have what they call KYC. They call it KYC. Know your customer so that you can then tailor make. So it is the same thing within your institution. What is it that makes these people tick? That is, and of course, as I say, all these things are making one huge assumption that you have hired right. As I say all those things, they will work if you have the right people. If you have the wrong people, it does not matter how much panel beating you do, you will have a challenge. Yeah. And for me, the best way that comes to my mind, I like to say, I don't know why I say this, but I like to say it's like if you're trying to grow coconut in Nyeri, for those who are Kenyans, I believe you will have a very big challenge. And often there's nothing wrong with the coconut, there's nothing wrong with the soil, but the two can't work together. If you take that same coconut seed and take it to Mombasa or to a coastal climate, it will thrive. And that's the challenge I'm throwing to you, especially those in HR or the leaders. How many coconuts are you trying to grow in Nyeri? And you can throw all manner of motivation at them, it will not work. So all the things I have said, it's anchored on one major assumption that the people are the right ones for the job. If the answer to that is yes, then now you can apply what I have said. If the answer is no, it doesn't matter how much you apply, you will still get frustrated because you're having a square peg in a round hole, or vice versa.
Wow. Now, because of time, let me quickly ask the questions. Samuel is saying, as an HR professional, how can you help an organization shift from rigid mindsets and outdated management practices, especially when it's a top management that is afflicted?
Okay, I will answer that question with one statement or with value proposition. Because nobody changes for the sake of changing, and especially when it is top leadership. So if you are able to show them the value that accrues to them, not as an institution, by the way, but as individuals, for making that shift. If you're able to say, for example, you're making 10 shillings for the sake of argument, if you make these changes that I'm telling you, this can go to 15 or this can go to 20, if money is their main focus. If the work environment or retention, because you must also understand what is value to them, then depending on what is value to them, you speak the language of value. For example, a lot of people who sit in the C-suite, the language they understand is bottom line. So if you can convert your entire conversation to show by shifting from this rigid mindset to this flexible mindset, this is what the impact on the bottom line, you shall be home and dry. So what is the business case? Why should I change? What is in it for me to make that shift? That's in a nutshell the way I would put it, Grace.
Okay. Philip is saying, how do you influence the decision makers again, or stakeholders to understand the workforce to make policies and strategies that will fuel high performance culture for these millennials?
Okay. So I will answer it the same as the value proposition, but I can also now tweak it a little bit, what I like to call the burning platform. If the value proposition does not work, then we say, what is it that you start to lose by not doing this? You know, you create fire under their feet. If a platform is burning, you don't even think twice. Instinctively, you jump off the platform. And can I just let you know that a lot of times it's not that they don't know, they know, but the pain is not sufficient enough for them to move. Okay? You know, we talk about the 2 P's of behavior change, pain or pleasure. For me to change, I've got to either be running towards something or running away from something. If it is comfortable, if the pain is a pain I can cure with a simple painkiller, there's no need to see the doctor. But when it becomes persistent, then I will go and see the doctor. So the only way you're going to get that shift, sorry, I didn't get the name of the person who asked, is create enough pain that a Panadol will not cure. Create enough pain that somebody will need to see a doctor. So if you can paint that picture, trust you me, nobody likes pain. They will actually want to make the shift. But as long as it's something I can get away with, it's the same thing we do with our cars. Sometimes we drive them, we know they should go for service. We know we need to fix this thing, but we keep pushing as long as the car is moving until one day it stores on the road, isn't it?
On the road, yeah.
And then we will find time to go to the mechanic because now the burning platform has been created.
Right. Miriam is saying, what is your take on balanced scorecard as a performance management tool?
Personally, I think it's a great tool because it helps you look at all the levers of business. What are the things that make a business successful? However, it is the application of it that I think is a challenge. And often what I have found is gaps in goal setting. I know we've talked about SMART goals like forever, but it still remains a very difficult thing to do in practice. So actually you could use any rudimentary performance management system as long as your goal setting is done well. I wouldn't even talk about the review. For me, it is how are you setting these goals? Once you get those right, you're good. I like balanced scorecard because it helps you again focus on all facets of the business, because even if you're doing very well in one and another one is suffering, you're still challenged. But I would still go into the space of goal setting, garbage in, garbage out. And I think that is where the largest struggle in performance management is, plus the space of consequence management. We are very shy, especially to give sanctions. Yeah, so we all give that neutral score where you don't have to explain much. So we are not bold in celebrating those who are doing very well and quote unquote punishing those that are pulling everybody else down. So if we can fix goal setting and fix consequence management, I think we are home and dry.
All right.
And let me just also throw in, sorry, Grace, the training. Do people understand this tool, including the HR people themselves? Yeah, so upskilling again, as we had said there.
And I think there's one very burning question. And by the way, I had offered people a chance to pay 3,300 for the meet and greet session next week if you pay before 9 o'clock. And I can see it's already 9:03. So I'll extend it to 9:05. And I think Kevin and Jacinta had posted the, what do we call it? The link to register and the till number. So you can pay, and if you do that tonight, we are giving you an offer of 3,300 instead of 3,500. Right, there's a question that has appeared twice. They are asking about creating, how do you create a high performance culture within the organization? And somebody else was asking, how do you create a culture in an organization?
Okay, how do you create culture? Again, how you create culture, if I was to start from the bottom, is the 2 P's. Once you decide this is the culture that I want to have in this organization, how do you reward those that exhibit that culture? How do you punish those that don't exhibit the culture? So that for me is the quickest way to do it. So first of all, have clarity about the kind of culture that you want to have. Of course, I believe that will be driven by your vision, your mission, where you want to be as a business. Then once you have crystallized that, reinforce. And the way to reinforce is through rewards and sanctions, whatever shape and form those take, but they must be meaningful. So when the reward is given, it must make a difference. When the punishment is given, it must really be a lesson for me not to repeat. And I like to say, look at the 100-meter dash or any competition. I don't know if anybody has checked the difference between the prize money for number 1 and number 2. It is massive, but the difference in the time sometimes is milliseconds, right? So that reward has got to be so meaningful that I must actually lead. Yeah, because the difference between being number 1 and being number 2 is painful, so to speak. So that is the sort of thing I'm talking about. Once you've understood what culture you want, then have mechanisms to reinforce it within an institution. And high performance culture is actually the same tenet. So what does a high performance culture look like? A high performance culture speaks to clarity. The way you create a high performance culture is the goalposts are very, very clear. And it is not just the what, it is also the how and the what if. Those are the 3 questions. So this is the what we are doing. This is why we are doing it. Let me actually add the why there. This is how we do it. And this is the what if. The what if is if you do it, then. If you don't do it, then. Once those are clear and they are applied consistently, that culture actually becomes embedded within the institution. Where we lose it is when either we are not very clear or we are clear but become inconsistent in application, because then people know they can get away with it. But once you set it and stick with it consistently, then you're sure on your way to a culture. And then if you want to tweak it, then you can tweak it to a culture of high performance by setting those high targets.
Yeah. Okay, and I think the last question of tonight, how are we measuring performance for people working from home?
Good question. That one, maybe they should tell me. How have they been doing it? How have they been doing it in practice? Let me tell you one of the things I've spoken about for a very long time when I've given these talks is we must shift from rewarding presence to rewarding results. Now, for me, if we've set a target and we've said, for example, let me give something very simple. I've got a client report to prepare, and we have agreed with my supervisor that that client report needs to be in on Wednesday at 10 a.m. And we've also agreed on the quality. Now, as long as that report is in at 10 a.m., has met the quality, it doesn't really matter whether I worked on it at night, I worked on it in the morning, I worked on it from, and once we shift the mindset to results, then it becomes very easy to measure that performance. So it's not a question of you seeing me, it's not a question of when I reported. Because I could be at work from 8, but I haven't worked for you even for a minute. I've been doing my own things. So one of the ways to do it again goes back to clarity. Have very clear goals, measurable goals, and then track the person based on that. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, actually, the questions are so many. There are 2 more that have come.
Yes.
And I see that we
are past the time.
We are
yes.
past the time. Somebody is saying, and I know this will apply a lot in people in manufacturing, in an organization setup that has management and unionizable employees that are on permanent and pensionable basis, plus an additional establishment of contract staff. How does one go about performance management process for junior staff who are in the union and contract employees? Yeah.
Okay, and that sounds a lot like the public sector, union, or even manufacturing, like you said.
Yeah.
Union, I guess, is in the sense that their deals or their terms are negotiated anyway. So the question is, what is my drive? I think for those kinds of people, I would go down to the work, the work aspect of, remember the 3, there's the work, there's the workforce, and the workplace. How can we make their work more meaningful? Because I want to believe if you make their work more meaningful, then it's one of the levers of driving. The work aspect of, remember the 3?
Sorry.
Oh, something happened. Oh, I wondered why. Yeah. So if we can sort out I can see something on screen. I don't know if it's supposed to be showing.
Yeah, no, you just go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. So if you, I think the main area you would focus on is making the work meaningful so that you're getting value for money, because their benefits to a very large extent are negotiated. Now, the contract staff, maybe that's a bit broad, but if it is contracts that are subject to renewal, that becomes easy, because then if I'm going to renew or not renew, then is a factor of your performance. Even if they are fixed term contracts, I want to believe they've got an exit clause in them. And you can tie that exit to the performance of the individual. So you're not being obliged to carry this person to full term if they are actually not delivering. I think those are the broad ones out there. So for union, is making the work meaningful so they can produce more, even within this negotiated space. Contract, if it is renewable, that's easy, because then you rope in performance. If it's fixed term, then leverage your exit clause in terms of driving performance.
Okay, and I've shared the screen for you to see the courses that are being offered by Pathway Solutions. Pathway Solutions has been our partner for season 2, and they have been offering free instructor-led Zoom trainings and also self-paced learning on their LMS. So we have quite a number of sessions coming up. But before I read out what is on the screen, I think there's one question which probably we've answered, but I think we can also answer with clarity. How do you change a culture of a workforce who are slow to grow and don't take anything as important, meaning they always listen and agree to target, but they don't meet them?
Okay. I'm hesitating because the answer I'm about to give might not be liked. The people have no problem. The leaders have got a problem. Why do I say that? Because if I continue giving these targets and agreeing and I'm not meeting them, where is the pain point for me? If there is no pain point, I'll do that this year, I'll do that next year until it costs me something. So it is not the people that have got an issue, it is the people giving those instructions and letting these individuals get away with it, because that you are actually enabling the behavior. And if it is comfortable for me, then why should I change? So whoever is asking that question, I would say it is the leadership that needs to be spoken to. Remember what I said about consequence management? That is what comes into that space. If you don't manage those consequences, it will go on and on and on. because we don't change for the sake of changing. We change because we can see value in changing, that I'm gaining. What is innate for me? Yeah.
Excellent, excellent. And I have one of our former speakers who's got their hand up. And because I like her, I'm going to give her an opportunity to speak. Monique, I'm going to allow you to speak. I hope the hand was intentional. So I have asked you to unmute. If you can unmute and shoot your comment or question.
Oh dear, it was not intentional, but probably, probably I'll just say thank you very much, Catherine, for that great presentation. And the way you presented it, it's very different, but very applicable. Thank you.
Thank you, Monique.
Thank you so much, Monique. Yes. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Allow me to offer you guys the free training sessions that are happening with Pathway Solutions. By the way, their e-learning courses get you a certificate, and you do them within a span of 60 days. So please take advantage of this. We have a few of them on self-paced. We have performance management. 4 of you get a chance to train with Pathway Solutions. And then we have conduct effective reviews. That is for 3 people. Conflict management at workplace for 2 people. Social media for business, 2 people. Entrepreneurship 101, 4 people. So please email us at info@atarasolutions.co.ke. I repeat, info@atarasolutions.co.ke with the subject line, the topic that you would like to be a winner for. If you're looking for performance management, 4 of you, please note it's first come, first served. So whoever is emailing now, you probably will stand a chance to get this training. Performance management, 4 people. Conducting effective reviews, 3 people. Conflict management at workplace, 2 people. Social media for business, 2 people. Entrepreneurship 101, 4 people. All these are sponsored by Pathway Solution Services Limited, and we get to choose the winner. So email us. Please note, hata mkiinua mkono leo, we will forget. So it's easier when you send us an email. Email us on info@atarasolutions.co.ke or frank@pathwaysolutionsservices.co.uk. frank@pathwaysolutionsservices.co.uk. Email us with the subject title of whatever training you want to attend. On that note, again, we have the instructor-led Zoom meeting live, which is happening on 24th, which is tomorrow. Due to public demand, they are repeating reinventing yourself and business after disruptions. This is a repeat due to public demand. So tomorrow at 11:30 to 1:30 p.m., Frank will be taking you through reinventing yourself and business after disruptions. And then next week, no, 26th is Friday, at 8 to 9 p.m. Friday at 8 to 9 p.m. He will be discussing dealing with difficult people. 8 to 9 p.m. on Friday 26th, he will be discussing dealing with difficult people. For you to attend any of these trainings, please email us at info@atarasolutions.co.ke. Info@atarasolutions is with an H and an S. Atara with an H at the end, solutions with an S at the end. So info@atarasolutions.co.ke or frank@pathwaysolutionsservices.co.uk. And you'll get a chance to be trained by Pathway. And the advantage you get with Pathway Solutions is that they give you a certificate, especially for those who train on their LMS. So somebody is asking, what is the Zoom link for these sessions? Please email us and then we'll be able to share with you. So today we have really extended time. Allow me to just inform you that this webinar series is brought to you by Atara Solutions in partnership with Balkan Housing. And Balkan Housing have given us an offer for their pieces of land in Nanyuki. They are selling them an 8-acre plot at 400,000 shillings. Again, an 8-acre plot at 400,000 shillings, and they will tailor-make the installments for you. And if you want to learn more, they will be with us next week at Parkland Sports Club when we have our meet and greet. So for more information, you can get in touch with me, or you can come at Irene Mine. I hope you have paid. Wewe kwanza staki mchezo on a light note. But yes, Balcon Housing will be at Parkland Sports Club, and you can meet them and ask as many questions as possible. So next week, I imagine this is our last Zoom session of season 2. Oh my God, I'm sad. It's been such a fulfilling and learning and so much packed in these sessions. We've managed to do 32 episodes. This is the 32nd episode. Season 1, we did 26. Season 2, we managed to do 32 episodes. And if you missed any of this, all the recordings are uploaded on our YouTube channel. If there's one that has really spoken to you and you want to engage the speakers more, I've seen a number of people asking for Catherine's contact details. We are going to share that. You can always get in touch with me and I'll be able to hook you up. It's been such a fulfilling journey, and I'm really looking forward to the meet and greet. Our theme next Tuesday is the ground has shifted. Have you know, things have changed. Catherine has talked about what has changed. So have you as an individual changed? So we have our keynote address, Mr. Mohan Panessa. He has run a business for over 45 years in Kenya. We have our panelists, beautiful, awesome speakers, very knowledgeable about the Kenyan market and international. Coach Buyanzi moved from the United States to come and set up a business in Kenya. She has a wealth of experience. We have Engineer James Mwangi, who has run a business for over 20 years in this country. He's a board member at KEPSA, a board member for FIDIC, and a lot of other accolades. And he is going to be there. He spoke to us about transitioning from employment to business. And you can get a chance to have a one-to-one with all our speakers, okay, at least most of them, who will show up on Tuesday. Then we have Joram Winamo. He's the CEO at Sandbox. And Joram spoke to us about business strategies. And if you're an HR professional, you know Jen Mutisia. She's not new to the HR professionals. She is an awesome career coach and a businesswoman as well. She runs the Career Management Center. Obviously, our partners from next week are Atara Solutions, as always, Balcon Housing, Stallion Construction Company, Pathway Solutions, Sandbox, Zaidi Furniture, Paneses Kenya Limited, Current Technologies, the Career Management Center, and Coach Buyanzi. So there will be a lot of networking, learning, eating, and lots of fun. I gave an offer. I hope you guys have taken advantage, because I can't wait to see you all dressed up. Yes, somebody in a group was asking whether we have a photo booth. We definitely have a photo booth and an awesome photographer for that matter. And our MC for next week is none other than Noah Kipkemboi. He's a business journalist at KTN Kenya. If you watch business news on KTN, you can check out Noah Kipkemboi, and he is our MC. And as always, your moderator of choice, Grace Ndula. I'll be there moderating all the panel sessions. Right, so I hope maybe you can leave us with a comment. If this is your first time, you can tell us how your experience was. But if you're coming, you've been here before with us, and you can share your experience with us. Thank you so much, Catherine, for your time today. I know we came to you a bit late, but you are so knowledgeable. I can't wait to engage you further. You let me know what contact details you'd like us to share, because I've seen a number of people asking for that. Dr. Claire, the Zoom sessions, you can email us info@atarasolutions.co.ke, and we'll be able to share. If you're looking for any of the webinars that you may have missed, our YouTube channel is Get It Right with Atara Solutions, and you can be able to catch up. And yes, next meet and greet should come to Mashinani. Where is Mashinani now? Kanywa Mwenda, where is Mashinani? And we will come to Karibisha. Atara Solutions, we are everywhere. So thank you for taking advantage of the offer, Anne. Yes, we gave an offer. Okay, all right. So Catherine, your parting shot for 1 minute.
Okay. What can I say? I mean, I almost commented there saying for me that the energy level has also been good, and What can I say, especially to the HR practitioners in the house? You're managing the institution's most critical resource, and that has been proven through research now. It's not just a statement. So you're very powerful in that particular institution. Please use that power right. And the way to actually bring that resource to the fore is through performance management. So you've got what it takes. You're in the right place with the right resource, the right tool. Let's move the world together. Thank you.
Wow, let's move the world together. Get it right with Atara Solutions, or rather, Grace Ndula is in the business of changing the world through information. So thank you for making or helping us achieve our goals, and thank you for making the time in this late night. And James, karibu sana. You're saying this is your first time here. Thank you so much. Please catch up. We have a lot of valuable information that you would pay millions of shillings to actually access, and it's free. It's on our YouTube channel, and you get to learn things that you can actually apply in your work. So yes, Rachel, let's move the world together. Absolutely. So thank you so much, guys. We've taken more than the usual time, but I'm sure it was worth it. Thank you for staying on. My name is always Grace Zula. Atara Solutions is your go-to for your in-house trainings. And if you're looking for people like Akina Catherine, ongea na mimi vizuri, nitakuhook up. And we will share, for those of you who are asking about the presentation, I hope Catherine can give us a version that we are able to share so that you can get to digest more. And with that, please follow us on Instagram, Atara Solutions, like our Facebook page, Atara Solutions, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Get It Right with Atara Solutions. See you next Tuesday as we dress up and show up. It's going to be lit as we end the year in style. We will be at Parkland Sports Club from 5:30 p.m. and at only 3,500 you get to network. By the way, this is purely networking with learning. So you come early, you are able to meet new people, you are able to exchange ideas, you are able to also offer people something that they didn't have, which is actually the essence of networking. So come learn, come network, come have fun. I mean, we haven't met each other in a very long time. Okay, first of all, season 2, 32 plus 26 is like karibu 6 people. Episodes we've done and we've never met. So take advantage, and I shall see you on Tuesday at Parkland Sports Club for further details. For the Pathway Solutions trainings, please email us at info@atarasolutions.co.ke, and we will be back. We'll get back to you on that. I can see the emails already are coming. I hope you're copying info@atarasolutions.co.ke because sometimes Zula might forget. I am just saying the truth. But Kevin will not forget, or Jacinta will not forget. That's why we encourage you to use info@atarasolutions.co.ke. And let's just, maybe Kevin, you can type in info@atarasolutions.co.ke for the people looking for Frank's trainings, the ones by Pathway Solutions. All right. Have yourselves a lovely night, good people.